email that I sent to the clerk is on June 24th, 2020, so the day before, June 23rd. This is giving you a record of where you need to pull your minutes if you need to see them. She asked me what those items were that we voted on. We voted unanimously to redirect funds in, and this is when a whole lot of things were going on in America, okay? A whole lot of police brutality, a whole lot of George Floyd things, and people were saying, defund the police. And I'm like, how can you defund the police? Doesn't make sense. But what I did, I put a motion on the floor for us to redirect some funds in public safety. And so that was to redirect some funds to hire 3 officers to run the new cold case unit. We had already voted for a cold case unit. We had too many cold cases, too many unsolved murders, too many missing people. We had too many things going on that were unsolved. Nobody was touching them. We voted on a cold case unit, right? That was first. And so second, we had to vote on the funds to go into the cold case unit. And so we voted on to redirect funds in the police department over to the cold case unit. 3 officers would be obligated to do those things right there. Mainly their job would be cold cases, okay? And then we also voted on, after that we voted on the purchase of upgraded bicycles to reinstate the SPD bike patrol. I heard y'all talk about that at the last meeting. I don't know where you are on that, but we also voted on that, and that the funds are supposed to continue and rotate to the next budget. They're supposed to do that already anyway. And we voted on for office supplies needed to reinstate the Citizens Police Academy. There was a Citizens Police Academy whereby the police department had an academy for citizens, where the citizens came in, they learned they learned what the police are doing. They got to go out on general calls with the police. They graduated from this academy and therefore became ambassadors, somewhat spokespeople for the police department in the city, throughout the city, and say, hey, that's not how that's supposed to go, this is how it goes. You know, they became ambassadors. A lot of members of Ward 4 graduated from that academy. We went to Chief Brock, he might have been Lieutenant Brock by then. At that time, he took us to the gun range to show us how to respect the gun, clean the gun, know the purpose of the gun, which is one purpose. It was made for one purpose. We know what that purpose is. Well, people collect guns, but you know what I mean. So we went to the gun range and all of those things, and so this was part of the Citizens Police Academy to learn how to do things properly and appropriately. As we go about the city. And so we voted on those things, and those other things that we voted on were concerning, you know, like chokehold and all those things, but they don't pertain to money, all right? But we did vote on those. You'll find those minutes in June 23rd, 2020. The email that was sent to the clerk to reiterate what we voted on the night before is dated June 24th, 2020. So Madam Clerk can pull that up for you. Talking fast because I'm trying to get to a bonfire.
All right. Any questions, council, about any comments made? Comments mentioned?
I know pertaining to the bicycles, the police department did get a grant to fund. Okay. That was included in the grant. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you all would see where it went, how it disappeared. Oh, I left out the main thing. I'm sorry. This is one of the main things. We also voted on a mental health professional for the city of Selma, but that would go through the police department's budget. So we voted on the position itself, we voted on the description of the position, and we voted on the funding for the position. So you'll find that in the minutes as well. A lot of things were going on in the police department. You all know we had an officer that committed suicide, homicide, whatever you want to call it, but it was at the same time. We had someone who was mentally ill, shot in the community, shot dead in the community. And so we voted on a mental health professional for the city of Selma. So it was not just for SPD, it was for the city of Selma. So that is in the same set of minutes. It is very, very important, y'all. Very important.
All right. Any more questions?
Do you have the amounts for the money that was set aside for that?
I don't. She has them.
Yes, but we won't be able to get it until Tuesday. We won't be able to vote because we won't get it until Tuesday.
What's wrong with tomorrow?
What's
wrong with Monday?
We got process.
Well, I'll be back then. In that case, y'all see me Tuesday.
All right.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
I was trying not to come back to you.
All right.
Give me right, see you too.
All right. Now we'll move on to our business items, and we'll start with Councilwoman J.D. Thomas. You have the first 3 items, Councilwoman
I
Thomas.
need to talk about to tomorrow, okay? We
Okay.
go with Carroll Street to tomorrow. It's
Okay.
something going on for 6 years, but we gotta take care of it.
Okay.
All right, talk about that tomorrow. Next thing. Not tomorrow, next
Tuesday. Yes, ma'am.
Next Tuesday. Follow up on that, the other stuff next Tuesday. Maybe they'll they get this, and I want some follow up and some answers. The reason why I want some answers is because it's been months and months, and the citizens are entitled to hear something. We also had some letters sent out, and I want everybody to pray for Miss Liza White, that I've been talking about Miss White all the time. Right now, she's fighting for her life. She's on life support. She's the lady that I have been talking about, disabled to walk, that when they have to bring her out, the yard is full of water. Right now, Ms. Liza is on life support. So I want everybody in the city to put on the practice. Okay, my next thing, I want to talk about a member, about our auditor. You know, the legislature, all of us got it. I really had the email from the Alabama League of Municipalities. I think it's very important that we know this, because there has been some great changes in our auditor, which we have to do for this fiscal year. And they did it in July. The legislative branch did this in July. And there's some very strict things in here. Some things in here that we need to, as a part of this body of the legislature, we need to look at. And it's very important because they are being tight, strict this time. They are asking some questions, things that, some of the things that some of us have been asking for. And then they're also asking something very important, that I hope that all the council will get this, because this falls on us. This memo coming from the state example. We need to look at it, and Mr. Harvey, since you the chairperson of our, you're the chairperson, I think you need to get this, because it's a very, some stuff in
Yeah, I'll catch you right after.
Okay, and that's what I'm telling all of us, we need to look at it, because it kicked in the fiscal year of September the 3rd, and October 1st, that's when it started. So when we get ready to do our auditor for 2022, we got to be on that page. We have to have what this here require of us, and the spending, the way we've been spending our money, and a certain amount of money that we've been spending is a different thing this day, because they are asking some questions. So I just want all of us to be aware, because we are over the finance, and we need to be on one accord on this.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Councilwoman J.D. Thomas. Councilman Harville, you're up. City and Home Community Block.
Okay, yeah, and I've had several, 3 that I know of, instances where citizens in my ward called me, informing me that they have sewer issues in their house. They have called local plumbing contractors that have come out and found that there are not issues in that person's house, and they've gone to the manhole on the street, picked the manhole up, and it's full of sewage. One of these residents is in congested part of the hair, and he's got sewage backing up in his house. And what he was told, and I won't say who he talked to, but somebody in Public Works, who told them that he could expect minimum work from them because they're being paid a minimum amount.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Take the citizens of Selma as hostages, because we don't get our way. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. I will say, Mr. Attorney, as you probably will know, we're setting ourselves up for some serious lawsuits. People are paying their sewer bills, but yet the city sewer's backed up, they won't come fix it. It's not gonna end well. It is not gonna end well for the city of Selma. ADM is being contacted. I think it's time to have some hard conversations.
I have a question.
Sure.
Because a couple weeks ago, Meredith came to us about an issue that happened at home in Allock, and we declared the city a state of emergency, or we declared that a state of emergency. We need to do the same thing for this and go ahead and get it repaired. And every other sewer issue that we have in this city.
I agree, and that was part of why I was bringing it up. Does anybody, I mean, that seems like the thing that we need to do. I don't necessarily know what the process is to get it done.
Well, they fixed that before we declared it a state of emergency, and the same thing can be done for this.
Okay. Should I call Hog and Stone?
She's back there.
Mary, is that what I need to do, Mary?
Yeah, call me tomorrow and I'll go take a look at it.
Okay, because I think there's 3 different addresses in my
Yeah,
home.
just give me those addresses and I'll go take a look at it.
And if I remember correctly, we voted on a resolution.
Yes.
So, Mr. Attorney, we're gonna need you, I guess, to get with Meredith or whatever and draw up the appropriate resolution so that we can vote on it on Tuesday, because it is an emergency situation. And so, whatever you did for the last resolution, I would advise you to look at that and go from there. Good idea, Councilwoman.
I'm just saying,
Good idea.
not just this one, because there's one also in the front of McDonald's.
And that's in my ward, I was gonna talk
I
about
mean, come on,
it. And I
something
got
has to be done.
Okay, so let's get this, because Meredith's only one person, and so I'm sure there's a
I'm
bunch
sure
of
they
places.
know.
But can Meredith, I guess Councilwoman Thomas mentioned another one that had an issue. Whatever you come up with, can you let the attorney know and y'all draw up the appropriate document so we can take the appropriate action? Because having a sewage backup in front of a restaurant, I didn't have to go to law school to realize that's a problem. And so that's a big problem.
And Mr. President, you
As
know,
far as McDonald's Corporation is sued, go ahead.
and you know, we have to follow the protocol, so what I did contact, it's on my line, on my side. What I did contact the mayor's office. I contacted the secretary and told her that this is, it stopped one time, because somebody came from Tri-Tech and got in the middle of that. Tri-County, and fixed it. But then it started back, because I was watching. But then I called her, and these are the words I asked. I said, can you tell the mayor we have a state of emergency where raw sewer is coming up out of the drain up here by, right on the side of CBS. That's what it said. It's running on the side of CBS. And she said, well, I will call you back. She did call back. She called me back, and this is what she told me. Ms. Dunn said that Public Works said they are not fixing anything. But he said that he would try to get someone out. And I told her, I said, well, either way you do it, get someone out, and I will pay for it out of my money, because this is unhealthy for the area. And that was it. But I looked today and I didn't see, I kept watching, I didn't see anyone come out.
I can, if I may,
Please, come on.
I can give an update on that. That line is tricky. You know, we have been battling it for a while, but it's a state highway. Okay?
Oh.
So then you gotta get the state involved. We can't just go
On the state.
in the state highway and dig it up. So I did have a meeting today with Mr. Evans from Tri-County and representative from the state. Representative from the state gave us the go-ahead to just dig up that manhole right there. He talked to his bosses in Montgomery, because it's an ongoing issue and it's a serious issue. So tomorrow you should see some action out there.
Excellent.
So the one, you know, it runs from Summerfield to the middle of the state. So it
That line is fine.
Okay.
The main line, which runs down that turn lane,
Yeah.
is in good shape. I've had Bo from Tri-County out there this week trying to jet it out and, vacuum it out to try to alleviate the issue. The main line is fine. It's something's going on with that manhole in front of McDonald's, and it ties into the main line. And we kind of don't know what's going on. We can't quite figure it out. We've been out there several times, but like I said, we had to get with the state because it is a state highway. The state, if you go out there and dig without a permit or the state's permission, they will shut you down. So we did get with the state. So he's supposed to be out there tomorrow morning if he can line up materials and do his investigation. So we're on that. We're going to try to get that resolved tomorrow.
So that will come in right there by, CVS, it'll stop. Will it stop?
Well, I was just aware of the one in front of McDonald's.
Well, you got the one in front of McDonald's, go look at the one right there by CVS.
Okay.
Right there, it's coming up, all you see is raw sewer, and then it's got a manhole right there too.
Okay, I'll go take a look at that tomorrow.
That's the one that I called the mayor this morning,
Okay.
on my side of Summerfield and Ward 7.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the one in front of McDonald's.
I saw them in the one in front of McDonald's,
Mm-hmm.
but the raw sewage is coming up on the other side of the street.
Okay, when he's out there tomorrow, we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
President Young,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask if there wasn't somewhere,
Mayor, I'm gonna ask you one more thing, one second, go ahead.
I wanted to ask if there wasn't some way to get addresses on all of these matters involving sewage.
And can you all work together?
Mm-hmm.
I think y'all do work well together.
Yes, sir.
So that we can take action on this. And if you send this to me early enough, I can get this on consent. So if you get it to us in time, we can go ahead and get this wrapped up Tuesday.
I just wanted to make sure that we don't count 1 or 2 and then have 3 or 4 more.
Right. And so those, and we trust Meredith to know which ones are of, because she does this daily. So those that take priority, I'm sure she'll be telling you those, the main ones that we need to cover right now. So Meredith, those that are just pressing right now, we need to get that taken care of. So you know that a lot better than any of us would know. And then also, I noticed that there wasn't the Franklin Street pump station. Did you want to say anything on that tonight?
If y'all had any questions, I was
Okay.
just here to answer any questions. I know I spoke about it last week.
Right.
I didn't know, I was just calling to see if y'all had any questions.
All right. I personally don't, but do y'all have any questions?
No, I don't have any, because she had already told us how they were gonna do it.
Okay. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate you. All right.
President.
Now, yes, sir. Okay, yeah. We're almost finished, so you're good. Okay, we're almost done. Any committees to report at this time? Any committees to report? Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Only thing
Chandler.
is that, the youth ambassador will be involved in, walking across the bridge tomorrow morning. We'll be meeting at 8:30, and young students from Atlanta will be here at 9 walking across the bridge.
Anything else? Any other committees? There being no further business of the Selma City Council, this work session stands adjourned.
Court session.
You already got that one, don't you?
Okay.
Put it back.
All right.
All right.
Councilwoman, go ahead and start. Good afternoon, everybody.
All right.
Welcome to the Selma City Council work session, October the 6th, 2022. At this time, we'll have a word of invocation. And Councilman Jemison, will you please offer us our word of invocation?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Judge God, Almighty God, we thank you for being here today. Thank you for waking us, positive spirits and creative minds. Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful day you gave us. Thank you for gathering here today. We thank you for the mayor. Thank you for our city council president, our city council. We thank you for all the citizens in Selma, God, and all the Dallas County. Not being selfish for the whole world, God, thank you. We need help in Selma right now.
Yes.
Please help us in this way, God, that we come together and assemble ourselves in a good pattern, a good nature, that we conduct strong business for the city of Selma and move forward as the people would like us to. In your name, pray God. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Councilman Johnson. Yes. Let us all rise for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. You may be seated. All right, council, this time we will perform our roll call for the evening. Please respond accordingly. Council President Young, present. Councilman Harville, I know he's here. Councilwoman Christy Thomas. Okay, Councilman Clay Carmichael. Councilwoman Lisa James. Councilman Sam Randolph. Councilman Eckes Jemison.
Here.
All right, Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Present.
And Councilman Michael Johnson. Okay. Thank you, council, for responding to our roll call. I got you, Councilman Harvey. All right. At this time now, we do have an update to our agenda for the evening. We need to add to our citizens' request 2 citizens. First, we're going to add Ms. Gail Bedgood to our list this evening to discuss street closure. And then also, we're adding to our list Angela Benjamin to discuss public safety. Those are the 2 additions to our agenda for the evening. Are there any objections to those additions? All right, thank you, council. So we'll proceed accordingly. We'll act first with our first citizen on deck for the evening, and that's Mr. LaMarcus Snow. Good evening, Councilman Thomas.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
All right, how you doing, sir?
I ain't gonna take up too much of y'all time. The last time I was here in regards to 3 contracts, 1 in Ward 1, 1 in Ward 2, and 1 in Ward 3. Some kind of way, he got mixed up with me doing the contracts, and then Public Works was sent to do some of them. So I'm just here basically. I know y'all have seen it, the votes last time, if I'm not mistaken. That's what was said. But I'm here. I turned some invoices in, and I'm just trying to get compensated for the work I did do. You know, Public Works is on strike or whatever, so they probably won't. The director probably won't be able to go out and check my work due to them being on strike. But the council members, they ride by these areas every day. Both Councilman Harvey and Councilwoman Christy Thomas, which I done the bridge on Medicine Center Parkway, which it looks immaculate. The bridge, and then I done in Ward 1, I done the 3-way stop. I done the marina, everybody seen. I done the entire marina, which the marina was worth $10,000 to do. And I done the marina, the 3-way stop, midline, the track on Old Orbit, just a lot of work that I done for the amount that I did. And I didn't do full amounts, which I almost completed everything in Councilman Harville's ward. So I turned in the invoice for that, and I just turned in the invoice for areas, the bridge on Medicine Center Parkway, and the 3-way stop, Old Cahaba and Old Mill part that I done in Christy Thomas ward. Everything looks good. It's been on Facebook. All the citizens of Selma appreciate it. They've been saying it look great. So if somebody say they want to check on it, all they have to do is refer to my page. All the work I do is always on Facebook. And everybody's commenting about the work they've done. Everything looks good. I just want to try to get compensated for the work that I did.
And you've already turned in the work to Ms. Elson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. Council, any questions, comments?
I have the invoice, and I'll be requesting a favorable vote to have this invoice paid on Tuesday.
All right.
I got something to add.
Yes, sir.
It was small work done on Councilman Clay Carmichael contract. So I just told them whatever I did in that ward, I just donated to community service, since it was just selling work, because public works had done most of that work. There's someone no sense in trying to, fight for getting anything, so.
Ward 3 community service. Yes, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it, it was great.
On my invoice, I am requesting some help from some of you all to pay this, because I don't have it all in my discretionary. So, if you all would be so generous.
Let me ask the question. We're in a new budget cycle. So will this come out of the new, I believe this will have to come out of the new budget cycle because we're in a new fiscal year. I'm thinking.
It would, but we did a continuation of the current budget, so.
But our discretionary, we all start over again with 10,000. So let us know.
Yeah.
We'll find out for sure. Okay. We'll find out
Not
for sure.
then, maybe I can get, we can pay for it out of surplus. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's done the work. We just need to get paid.
Well, we'll figure out the right motion and we'll get it on the agenda for Tuesday.
Just want to bring that up today, so y'all won't be surprised on Tuesday.
All right. Anybody else? Mr. Snow, thank you, sir. Everything you do.
Thank y'all for allowing me to come down here. I would stay, but I had to go home, change clothes, come down here. I got to go back and change because Washington, D.C. will be down here. Hood will be down here inspecting all my complex, and I'm working. I got to work.
Thank you.
I've been working.
It never stops, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Snow.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll move on to the next citizen, and that's Ms. Gail. Oh, very good. Come on up.
And I'm fast. That's long.
Good to see you. Ms.
Good to see you again.
All right.
I'm here on behalf of Arts Revive. We got 2 events coming up, one in October and one in November. And I have filled out the paperwork to get the streets closed. We had some problems last year where we didn't find out if they were authorized to close it for like 2 days and maybe 1 day before the event. And we kind of need to know a little more. The date in October is October the 27th. That is Telltale Festival. And we need the Church Street closed at Alabama Avenue. We need Arsenal Place at Church Street, which is a smaller area. And we need Water Avenue at Lauderdale closed. For Telltale, we need that from 5:30 until 9:30. And then the next event is in November the 18th and the 19th. This is Photographic Nights of Selma. This is a international festival. We have photographers from all over the world coming in, and we have presentations in our courtyard. And the reason we need to close off is we have those trucks going through with their boom boxes, and you can't hear the presentations. It's very loud. And we also have a lot of people coming in for safety's sake. And the streets would be the same that we need. And it's both nights, and it would be from 6:30 until 9. And we hope to be able to hire 2 crossing guards each night to help. They're in our budget.
Can you please give me those streets again?
Okay. On Church Street, the intersection at Alabama Avenue.
Okay.
The intersection of Arsenal Place and Church Street.
Okay.
On Water Avenue, the intersection of Lauderdale Street.
Okay.
And that will close off our little end so that everybody's safe and everybody can hear. And
Yep.
everybody's happy.
And for Telltale, that's October 27th.
Right.
And then for Photographic Nights, that's November 18th and the 19th.
19.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right.
And I hope y'all all come. It's gonna be 2 great performances.
Thank you. Any questions, everybody? All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Okay.
One question.
Oh, yes, go ahead, Mr. Chamberlain.
You already turned your paper in.
I turned it in today. That's it. Diagrams and everything.
Excellent. All right. Ms. Angela Benjamin for public safety. Ms. Angela Benjamin for public safety. Calling one last time, Ms. Angela Benjamin for public safety. All right, we'll move on. Are there any announcements that any council members would like to make at this time? Any announcements? Any announcements?
Not today.
Okay, hearing no announcements, let us remember the mayor's report has been submitted. I'm not going to go over that. That's not my job. And so look at the mayor's report, and if you have any questions about it, bring those ready for Tuesday. All right, attorney's report is the next item on our agenda. And Mr. Attorney, I know you have land bank ordinance. We know that that is still in committee. We also know that the virtual meeting and policy resolution, that too is in committee. And then we also know that the business license issuance fee, your item number 4, it too is in committee. We also know that the ordinance for sales tax delinquency, that too is in committee. So that only leaves, I believe, item number 3 on your report and item number 6.
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
President Young, and I wanted to point out something that I attempted to, but didn't have a lot of time the last time, that the first 3 items or so on my report for the next few weeks are just reminders of what is pending. I'm not trying to get action on that.
Gotcha.
I'm keeping them in front of you and me, in front of myself and you. And I have, I think about 4 other items for informational purpose that I was asked to report on. I should have reports on 2 or 3 of those, if not all of them, by Tuesday.
Okay.
Some information you asked for, Councilman Randolph, Councilwoman Jane Thomas, and I think one other council person. But I've got other informational items I'll report on, probably as soon as Tuesday.
Okay.
If not before, electronically by email.
Okay.
The item number 3 is a resolution. That's the one resolution I wasn't sure was ready to be voted on anyway. It was the dilapidated structures. I presented that resolution, I want to say about 2 to 4 weeks ago. And I was waiting to make sure that both the code enforcement and council had, all of us had all of our ducks in a row.
Yes, sir.
So I put that there along with the first of the 2 items, those 1, 2, and 3, for informational purposes, so that when you're ready to vote, I'll have any questions you can just ask.
Okay.
Number 6 is the one I'm mostly concerned about tonight. It's the
I'm sorry.
Yes, Councilwoman Thomas.
On item number 3, wasn't there something with that Valley Creek Circle address? It's still on this resolution. I just want to make sure if we're going to vote on this, that we need to be reminded that that is on this resolution.
Yes, and there was information that was presented. I think I forget who, but someone who might have still had another question or 2. I did present some information about service. The key for me was whether or not we had perfected service, and there were some questions about the post office delivering mail and the owner of the home not having signed for it.
So all of that has been resolved?
As far as I know, yes. Yes, I've gone back to, we've had 2 discussions in the executive branch about service, perfecting of service, and whether or not the post office's delivery of the mail qualifies for notice being perfected. I believe it does. I think you all have someone asked some more questions about that, and I do not have any questions about it this time.
That's why I said, the last council meeting, that I would rather hear from the clerk that everything on here has been documented, sent out, that they have received. Because I got a call from one of the owners that, on Gamma, she's out of Panama City, Florida, with the bill sent to her for $4,000. My concern was that the property was taken down before she received a certified letter about demolishing the property. But when I take a vote on something, I ask the representative, these, houses are in my area. I wanna make sure that the clerk, Tuesday night, I asked that, and the clerk hasn't gave me that information. You know, until I get that information, I can't.
I'll make another note
Yes,
for just
we
that
need to
point.
know that all of this, that this information has been, these people done signed and received for this. Agree, because we have a deal out there, and we wanna make sure, because we don't want, as a representative, I don't want to be told, when you agree.
Did we put it in committee? Public Works.
Not this. This one put in.
I thought that property was taken off the list.
We did take it off.
We just took it off until we could figure out everything that was going on.
What we did, council, is we previously had a different resolution that listed different properties. There were several different properties with several different wards. And we took this property off of the list at that time. And so now, this resolution that's presented to us, I am assuming that the properties, in addition to the one on Valley Creek Circle, these are new properties that we haven't voted on yet.
I think so, and I recall Councilwoman Thomas specifically asking for, I think, 4 or 5 off of one of the resolutions.
All out of 4 wards.
Yeah. Again, what I was just saying is that 1, 2, and 3, as far as I was concerned, was to remind the council and the executive branch of what we need to still consider. Any questions still available, outstanding, I'll be happy to provide answers on that for documentation.
So, this one,
I wasn't asking for a
President.
vote on 3 tonight. Tuesday.
This particular one, also, there was a question whether all the steps were taken before the demolition actually happened. So those are some of the things that we need to consider and make sure that it's been done.
Just specifically to 2513 Valley Creek Circle.
Well,
There
pretty
were
much all
questions.
of them, because
So-
there's steps before demolish.
Before you get to this.
Yes.
And that's the reason why, me as a resident, everyone on here, I know.
Hey, Councilman Chris Thomas, I follow exactly where you're going. That's probably why you asked it be places in committee. Because we had some questions, not just about this property, but about the overall demolition process. Were we doing each step correct? Not just with this property, but with all of them. And so that's why I think the overall demolition process needs to be placed into committee.
And there needs to be some understanding on what the process is.
Because remember, with one of the resolutions we passed, a previous phase included the word demolish.
Yeah.
And then this next phase included demolish. And then there was a question on whether or not, one of them said code enforcement had the ability to demolish, and then the other said the mayor had the ability. So there was confusion, genuine, and so we needed some clarity. So the overall demolition process needs to be placed, included with this, and I understand why you have it on there for information purposes. So, council, because we still do have some questions, are there any objections in placing the overall demolition process and this resolution in committee until we get a final determination? Are there any objections?
I don't.
Okay, no objections. So, Mr. Attorney, we're gonna place this resolution in committee as well as the Public Works Committee, and then we're also going to look at the overall process to get it right.
And this is probably gonna sound redundant, but that was expressly the purpose of my first 3 items.
Gotcha.
The last 3 were recently placed on as recently as, I think 2 weeks ago, and the other one as recently as yesterday.
Right.
Number 6
6, yes, sir.
is what I was most concerned about tonight, and for purposes of whether or not a favorable vote could be given Tuesday. The MOU for the National Park Foundation. This is one in an installment of about 3 separate items I brought to the council. This is where the city, Selma, ALDOT, and National Park Service and National Park Foundation, which is why I told you at one point, we had 3 entities, then I corrected myself to say, really, we've got 3.5. The National Park Service is allowing the work on behalf of the federal government to be done by the National Park Foundation. And the specific reason for that was that the foundation was capable of managing this legally and practically, functionally, a lot better than the National Park Service. What has been done in this instance, the instance of this MOU, is that we, the city, have been asked to consider, and I told the representatives of both Park Service and the Park Foundation that the council would have the last word on this, as is the case with all property matters. What we've been asked to do is to continue to pay the utilities at the interpretive center while the transfer of title, right title and interest, is conveyed to the National Park Foundation. They can't pay the bills on the building they don't own. That's not only legal, it's sound business. So we've been asked to continue to pay the utilities until the right title and interest to the property has been transferred to the foundation, and we will be reimbursed. I actually got that in writing, I'm not sure. No, you voted on the transfer of the land. This is just to pay the utilities.
This is MOU.
In the MOU.
Just
the utilities.
So it's not included?
Not in the deed transfer, no. It wasn't intended. It actually wasn't thought of until about halfway, 2/3 of the way through this process. Somebody finally realized that the foundation could not pay anything on the building until they got possession, right title, and interest transferred to them in the form of the deed.
So the last vote that we took at I wasn't present for that vote. I think it was near the end of the meeting. The council voted then to accept the donation.
Right.
All right, so that's what we did, and we completed that at the last meeting. Right. So now what we need to do now is, to make this transaction complete, the council has to agree under this MOU to pay the utility bills during the pending time of this transaction.
Only till the right title and interest is transferred to the Park Foundation, and they will reimburse us for those expenses.
Okay, question. When is the anticipated completion of this overall transfer?
Well, we've been given the date of November 1st, which is 3 weeks away now. But that was contingent upon us getting all the other things done in order, and I think we got everything else done.
Okay, and then they're talking about reimbursement. Are they doing a monthly reimbursement the way we pay bills, or is it every 3 months they're going to pay us? What is the method in which they're going to reimburse?
Once the deed is transferred, right title and interest is transferred to the Park Foundation, I expect payment for the total amount of the utilities that have been incurred by the city. Once the title is vested in the Park Foundation, they will pay the utilities. We're not asking to continue, being asked to continue paying the utilities beyond the transfer of title.
So, according to your understanding, we should not anticipate payment of the reimbursement for all of the months until this overall transaction is complete.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I just want to say that because I didn't want to come up later and somebody saying, oh, we paying the lights and haven't gotten a check yet. We're not expecting the check until everything's complete.
Right, and I haven't been given a firm date for that, but I can get an estimate. I don't think they can give us a firm date because we've got city, state, and federal attorneys and all kind of technocrats dealing with this process. So I can get us an estimate on the date. I know that there is a hard date.
Okay, and the next another question that pops up. So is this for, because I wasn't present for that vote, so excuse me for my ignorance on it. Is this for all 3 of the properties or just one of the properties? Or what property is this associated with?
This is just for the property that's going to be transferred to the Park Service.
The interpretive center.
Interpretive center.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna have to pay the utilities on the others anyway.
Okay. All right, Council, do you have any questions concerning the memorandum of understanding between the City of Selma, Alabama and the National Park Foundation?
And I wouldn't mind if you did take it, read it tomorrow over the weekend. If you have any questions, just send them to me in writing, and I'll be glad to answer.
Sir. All right, thank you for that. Any questions? All right, hearing no questions, I think those are all your items, Mr.
That's
Attorney.
correct.
We appreciate that.
I
You got
just
some?
wanna, ask if we can, the council can be provided with the, process for the demolished properties. Because we don't have them.
For the entire process.
Yes.
Yes, I don't see why.
Okay. Good thing, and we'll take that, and that needs to go into the committee. And yeah, Public Works Committee. All right, thank you for that. Ms. Benjamin is now here with us, and so we will take, I'm sorry, go ahead. Councilwoman Thomas, go ahead.
Do you have that, you say you're gonna have that information for me tomorrow? The information action. Just waiting on from,
You mean from Attorney Johnston?
in writing.
I didn't say I was gonna have it tomorrow, I said I should have it before Tuesday. I
Okay,
sent
well,
a
that's
note.
all, that's all, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, Ms. Benjamin.
I had to send another request to him in writing, asking him to give me in writing what he gave me verbally.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't have it yet.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
I've been looking at the budget for a couple of things, and mainly some public safety things that we voted on before you all were in office, and I don't see them. So I'm gonna present them to you tonight so that you can know that they are supposed to be there and they were voted on by the last council. And if you don't decide to put them on consent agenda, I'll just be back Tuesday to ask you to cast the vote. So